you can say classes and the objects, right? Classes and the objects, classes and objects.js. Now in the JS, classes can be defined in the different ways, right? In the JS, classes can be defined in the different ways. See, function car, right? You can say let CR is equals to new car. This is an object. Make sure that this is nothing but what the object is. New plus car. And see, how did you do this? This is something called as class, function as a class, right? You can call it as function as a class, right? Then if you write some inner functions hi inside this, and if you see cr dot hi, I suppose let's run the code. There's one more way, prototypical also. So here JS brush up, and you can say node and classes and objects. See, it is giving you the error. This is not working. This is absolutely not working, something like this. So if you want to do like this, what you need to do is that car dot prototype dot, so before this you can write this, say hi is equals to one function, and like this. Means if you want to define some methods inside this car class, you need to use something called as prototype. So this is one design pattern called as prototypical design pattern, right? When you say function car, right, this is working as a class over here. Now I want to define some class members, like, right? You can define something like this, and now you do cr dot hi, and you will get output like this, and you will get output like this. See, now error has been resolved. There is a no error, right? Means this is how you will define the functions, right? And same wise you can define some features or the attribute. Same like you can define the attribute. So one way of defining class is this, by means of the functions. So when you talk about the class, right, it is nothing but the combination of attributes and the member functions, or more typically it is nothing but behavior and its state. The class and objects are related to the state and the behavior, right? Now car would be having speed. Here you can say car dot prototype dot speed is equals to 100, right? And here what you can do is this, what you can say, increase speed is equals to one function, and then you can say car dot prototype dot speed plus plus, something like this. We are increasing what? The speed. And instead of hi, now the method has been changed, which is nothing but this increase speed. And after this let us console.log, and you can say car speed is dollar car dot prototype dot speed. Okay, presently it is 100, right? After increasing it should be 101, and let us see what is the output. Node, and what's that? Classes and object. Can you see 101 speed is? It's a prototypical design pattern. So you will create one prototype, and into that prototype you will start injecting the member functions and the state. So here speed becomes state, right? And the increased speed becomes behavior. State and behavior is all about what you can say, class. This is the definition of the class. Now this is the one way of creating the class. Now when you talk about the ES6, when you talk about what? ES6, another way comes in front of you, which is nothing but direct class, mouse, something like this. ES6 has given you one keyword called as class directly, right? Into that you will be having constructor. So if you check it here, new plus something, this something is called as constructor. Well, this new is called as memory allocation keyword. This is what the memory allocation keyword is, and this is something called as what you can say your constructor. If you want to construct an object, you need the function whose name is same as the class name, which is nothing but the constructor is, right? Generally in a constructor, what you can do, you define what you can say the default values. So let's have this dot, remember that this will point to the object of mouse which is available now, right? So this dot, what you can say, x position is equals to 10, and this dot y position is equals to 20. This dot x and this dot y, default values, right? So x and y in this case becomes the state, right? And here you can have one function called as move. So here I can say this dot x plus plus and this dot y plus plus. So exponentially your mouse would be moving if you do something like this. Now let's create object of mouse. Let ms is equals to new mouse. You have allocated the memory for mouse prototype, and then you can say ms dot move. That's it. And there would be another function plot. Say console dot log x is dollar this dot x. Remember that this will now point to the ms object, in this case this dot y. Remember that if you are calling ms dot plot, right? So this ms becomes this here. Getting this? This ms becomes what? This here. This ms becomes this here. So current object in a context is going to be replaced by this. The caller ms dot plus ms, the object ms, remember that this is not an object. This is something called as ORV, object reference variable, right? The variable which is going to hold the whole object reference is a ORV, right? So ORV is not an object. Actually this is having one memory location, and that is nothing, you name that memory location as ms, right? So this becomes ms location, and this becomes this ms location. Classes and the object. So this is after ES6, 6, and this is what before ES6. This is how you will work with classes and object before ES6. Right? So nowadays every browser supports ES6. You can go with the ES6. That's absolutely fine. Classes and objects. Right? This is all about what you can say needed things, right? So there are conditional statements. Let me show you how that works. Conditional statements .js means you can have let mrk is equals to 100. Then you can have if marks are greater than 40, console.log, you can say pass, right? Else if mark or mrk greater than 40 and short circuit operator, right? And mrk less than or equal to 60, console.log, good. Right? Otherwise distinction, something like this. If else is if else, there is no change. That's why I hadn't taken, but just to touch it I am telling you about this thing. Some conditional. Classes and objects are important, very important. How classes and object works, conditional statement works, something like this.
Can we have these statements directly inside the class without even having comments?
Yes. Inside where?
Inside class directly.
Here?
Yes.
No. No. Not possible.
So the statements
Should be in a scope. When you talk about class, there is a scope. When you say class, there is a scope. Make sure that if you have class, there is a scope. Right. Now there is something called as export. Export means export from this file so that I can import somewhere here. Right. Import. Right. From, you can say, classes and objects dot / classes and objects, right? And what to import? I need to import mouse, right? So here I can create write mo is equals to new mouse. From one file I have exported, and to the another file I am what? Importing. Let's try to run this conditional statement now. Node, okay, mouse from, okay, let me check it, ES6, export import, how export and import work. Let me check it. Let me connect to my network. Right, and don't know what happened today to the internet. Okay, import and export. Import, export. Right. If you see this, you will find how to export and how to import. Say I'm exporting the class and importing m from the file, but why it is not working? It should work. Export class mouse es6, okay, but why it's not working? Spelling is correct, classes CLASSES and objects. Still I suppose it will give you an error. So let ms is equals to same, we did the same, new mouse, import mouse. Any problem? Import export, what's the problem is?